this week with my students, we pick a project from Figma sites. So we did this in class. All these things have been done in auto layout. And in class, what we did is we give good naming convention, and then we integrate everything to Figma sites in order to see the HTML version of it. And then we kind of did some tests to take that design that we already imported from Figma design to Figma site, and then put it into Figma make, and add some extra properties on top, something like currency conversion. We imagined this site was like a shopping site, but that was just kind of a test. And then I set myself a half an hour challenge. If I can repeat the same process without the Figma make part, let me know if you really want that part as well. So my challenge is, I did not bring my mouse, unfortunately. I used these fingers, and I have a slightly smaller, not slightly, like way smaller screen here as a laptop. And then you already put all the child elements inside of this thing, but nothing has been organized. Whereas here I can take the idea, let's say a working, fully functioning auto layout ready to deploy into Figma site. So in less than half an hour, hopefully, I will try to do that. So the first thing that I would like to do, if I look at this thing, which is pretty crowded, as you see, let's organize these things from top to bottom. And okay, I forget this part. This was a component, so I take it out completely, and I'm starting from scratch. So all these child elements, and as you see, I already set the columns, so I don't need to realign everything. And I pick the font sizes whatsoever. So I will take this thing and make an auto layout. Why? Because if I reproduce lots of more pages, this is going to be my guidance. So cut it and paste to replace. That part is ready. And from here, I'll take one out, make an auto layout, and let's set this one 16 to 8, for example. And for you guys to see it, well, I'll put like a white color, but in this case, it is not needed. And let's call it something like button default. Okay. And yeah, I think I feel ready. And also I will add one property, something like, so I already have some design systems deployed under assets. You can anytime go and delete them for confusion. Delete, delete. And let's do it from scratch. And set a text like input / button. Or I can call it navigation button, whatsoever. So the property has been created. Make sure that this text element is right now subject to this color. To make an instance of it, all you have to do is option and drag. Cut, or let's create this thing like 1 by 1, 3, and make an auto layout, because as I write, it will change the size of that button. As you notice, it's already have done that. And call it, let's say, container. I'm not going to container, that's correct. So this container auto layout consists 3 instances of a component, which is a button inside. When I click, I can see everything right there. So this one is ready. I can make a component, take an instance, cut it, delete these two, and again open here, and I can do Command Shift and R, paste to replace. That did not fit well, so let's organize. And also, I would expect this to be right aligned when the size of the window is kind of bigger. So I will set right align and top from constraints. So that part is ready. But at the end, I would like to first and foremost align these two objects, maybe like this first and then second like that, and create an auto layout to build the navigation. The navigation I can arrange with padding, or I can set something like drag and estimate something like, I don't know, a round number that I would be okay. 80. Cool. And let's have a look at these things. Got them. Now I'm going to put it on my library. This is for, and these are molecules. In another video I will talk about atomic design system, but you can understand the atom of each UI component is like the smallest element. Something like one icon can be your atom, or your logo can be your atom, or your button. And multiple atoms come together and they create molecules and organism and eventually templates and finally pages. That's okay. All I need for this navigation bar is a stroke to the down 1 pixel. That's pretty much it. So let's take it up. Okay. And then call it navigation bar, create a component, copy and paste. Make sure that it is, let's say, center align and top, so that whenever you change the direction of that button, I only have to go and change it in the master component and take it to the organisms part, because more than one molecule come together, let's say one molecule and one atom, and create that part. And so on my screenshot I have this. Let's get rid of this part. This is my screenshot. How I can create this thing. So first and foremost, I would like to auto layout these two stuff. They are properly aligned, and this is rectangle. Yeah, I will name them later on. Let's auto layout them first. And I would like this object to be left and bottom align, something like that. The placement seems okay. Let's make it consistent, 24 by 24, good. And let's try the corners, maybe 40, good. And they seem, this part and this part seems a little bit closer to each other. So let's make it also 40, maybe. Great. And again, I'm totally doing off the cuff because I've done that, I don't know how, Tuesday. So I don't remember the numbers, but I make a guess. So that part is also finished. Let's call it banner for now. And I will ask eventually to Figma if I can give a better naming convention for this part. For this one, I need a yellow button, but I already have this navigation button. So why not basically create something like an extra button, which I can then call it CTA, for example, and call in general instead of a property type, because it's a type of that button. And for the background, I will use this yellow. I did not set styles whatsoever, just building this as fast as possible. And for the corner radius, let's put, I think it was 12, I'm not sure, it was not that dramatic. That's ready. Let's do, and I can also take it from my assets panel, one button here, and it will write something like about us. So two ways to do it. I can either double click, or I can press this instance and paste it here. About us, good. But the type of that button is CTA. Boom, done. So that button is fully aligned, and I will also fix that. So cut this part, paste to replace. Now it's time to make an auto layout for these child elements. Auto layout, good. Now if I want, I can go ahead and select this and do, instead of 101 hug content, I can say fill. Now it's basically filling that area. This seems similar, but if I eventually want these things kind of closer to each other, which seems like 24 instead of 28, maybe 16. Let's give in, yeah, something like 20 is good. Let's make a cheat and see what name I gave. Info section, great. So let's call that one info section, good. And because of the fact that I know that I'm going to use this thing again and again, I can put this thing into a molecule, make a component, take out an instance, cut it, and come here and paste to replace. Good. Now this is the fun part. I'll select all these elements, make an auto layout, okay, and call it, I don't know, gallery. Good. If I want these items to be scrollable, I would probably have to put it right here. Okay. And I would definitely say overflow scroll horizontally, because I want to scroll it horizontally. But at this time it will give me kind of a, not an error, but like a warning saying that for scrolling to work, the content needs to be bigger than the frame, which means I need to have more child elements. And I also don't want to see the overflowing element as well. So I will say clip content. It's still there, but I cannot see it. Also, let's give something like 32 pixel placement, or let's arrange it something like that. Okay, just to demonstrate that thing. So when I scroll, if I have the settings well prepared, this is too small. Yep, it's working. Good. So next one is to use these, but I also know that I can take it from this part and hide that thing. But instead, I will do another one. And this is also another part of info session. So instead of making info section, you might say why I'm not using from this for now, because I have like a challenging time issues, but it's also like an info section that gives me some sort of information about this company. For this one, again, they are all aligned perfectly. All I want to do is initially, because I was about to say initially make an auto layout on top. The reason behind it is if I select everything, make an auto layout, it's going to break this decision of spacing. For me, these two things need to be more closer to each other, so I make an auto layout. I can call it something like top section. It's the top section of that card, and these two things can be an auto layout. And I can say something like container. Again, I really don't mind about the naming convention just right now, because I will ask Figma AI to rename it for me. Let's see who is going to do a better job. And auto layout eventually everything that contains these two elements, top section and a container, and call it maybe card. Good. And yeah, same goes to this one. Take it out, give some color if you want. Again, this is not needed, but if you want. And oh, also I won't be doing that because I would like to align till this 4-column structure. So that's basically a better solution for that. So paste to replace, good. Now if you want, give some color here, and then eventually make an auto layout and use instances to replace the content. So this is done. Okay, paste to replace. The second one will be here. This is 2. Done. Oop. Let's make it to the front. Good. So I don't need any of these, except the photo, because I'm going to replace the photo with the rest of the child element, and it is really way too hard to work without a mouse. So if you want to replace this image quite fast, all you have to know is press Option or Command to select the child property, which is the image. And Option Command C, same, select this one now, and Option Command V to replace that image. So now you have the card. And then you can get rid of that part. Align these two bad boys. Done. And let's double check for the spacing, because I want them to be perfectly aligned. This is not perfect, but I will double check when I finish. The third one. Copy, paste, copy. I assume you can see all the shortcuts. And let's do the same. Option Command C, Option Command V to replace it perfect. This one also gone. These two align top. And this thing will be aligned with my columns. And let's control the size of this thing. Yeah, it seems it's perfectly aligned. So I'm not going to be counting all the pixels here. I think it will be doing a pretty good job in general. And let's copy the name. Feature section, boom. Some little cheat there, so that I have 3 cards in that feature section. Great. For this one, let's delete all of them, because I would be using this thing. The only difference is these black colors are white, and the text is different. So select, paste, select, paste. It's again about us. So let's get rid of these babies. And I'm going to put this inside. And bam. I think in the original one it seems more darker, but we will do that version just right away. So a rectangle, which is going to be an image. Shift A to auto layout. Make it slightly bigger. I don't mind about these things for now. You can even set to 0 and arrange it right in the center, because I would like it to be kind of fixed size. Let's say 40. Good. And again, I know this can be also 0, since I don't have a secondary child. The only child that I have is this one. Good. So this is going to be, let's say, 40 pixel. So let's also make this part of my oh yes, please. It was too big. Anyhow, I will add like a color layer so that this text could be more accessible. By the way, don't forget, right now we are seeing this too small. That's because of the fact we are looking 31 pixel. Not Shift, Command 0 is the shortcut to see zoom to 100%. But again, this is kind of not acceptable for, how to say, for accessibility purposes. So be mindful about these type of decisions. All I want to do is add like a color there, but I will add it something like maybe 20. Or if I really don't like the outcome, I can do like 80, but then I can select this thing and to say something like multiply, so that it will give this more dark and rich color. So don't forget that when you have an image, you can almost do anything with it. So same goes to this one. Select this image, go here and play with the saturation if you want. You take the saturation down, it becomes grayscale. Or take the exposure up or down, depends on whatever you want to do. So this part is finished. Not. I have the info section here. Let's cheat the name. Banner. It's not actually a banner, but it is something. I will call it container. So copy my style, and whatever you are not sure about how to name that thing correctly, just put the name there as a container. Okay. So that part is also finished. This is also copy from this info. Good. I will make that, I'm going to make that also align center now. Work with us. Work with us. Delete. Oh, unselect. Select this one. And let's say laser cut. Almost laser cut. Done. So this part is, again, not a tricky one, but when I select this logo, let's say that it's the logo, this thing, and this thing. So I have 4 elements here. And make an auto layout. Let's see how it turned out. Okay, it did a pretty good job. Sometimes it becomes messy, sometimes it becomes like grids. Grids are also fine, but the purpose is completely different. So in this case, this is, I think, enough. If I want to do that, also I can. But I don't want a fixed kind of gap between child elements. So I will say something like auto. And let's arrange to the bottom section. Same goes to this. I would like to call it footer section, and let's take it a little bit up, smash it down, make it as big as you want. Same. Okay, I cannot see it here. If I want to be precise, I can always look here and say 800, 485. That's totally okay. It's totally okay. But I just want to see the same look. So all I would do is initially set the corners. If I set all the corners as 40, I would then have these things. And so I'm going to make it separately, individually. So bottom left and bottom right will be 0, and these things will be 40. The second thing I'm going to do is select and add fill color. But this time I would like to add a gradient instead of a flat color. Not only that, I would like to add it from the same green tone and maybe make some adjustments for 0. Okay, so it's coming from that green tone to that green tone, but it does, even though it is 100% opacity, you might say that there's no difference because, let's close this one, this is 20, so let's make it 100 and see how it goes. It's okay, but it looks muddy for me, and all I want to do this part again to maybe darken or multiply. Any difference? Kind of no difference. Oh yeah, it does that difference. This is normal, and this is, let's say, anyhow, this is again not the point. I can reduce that one as well, just for readability purposes. Doesn't need to be exactly the same. And what else? Now, instead of having million different stuff, I have something like this. One thing I forget was these buttons. For this example, instead of fill, it was like hugging the content. I might need to put an extra spacing for this one and this one as well. Again, hug the content. No, it seems pretty similar about us. Okay, good. Did I forget anything? Probably not. Could I do a better job? Probably yes. But that would be way enough for you to, how to say, set this thing ready for the Figma site. So let's clean up, close everything, open desktop. You have this container, blah, blah. I'm going to make the final kick here. So, which in this case, I have the navigation bar, sorry. Let's put them in a auto layout and call header. I can also make this thing a, how to say, a component, but I don't want to for now. 0, 0, 0. Again, arrange it to top and center. but from both corners I would like it to be fully filling my master frame. And eventually, depends on your design, but maybe 40 padding from both hand sides would be good. And also this is still written button. Let's change that. Gallery. Okay. This thing is called gallery. You already write it like not capital letters. How come it's making a capital letter? It is because of the fact that when you select that master text file, if you go to the settings, you can also manipulate these things right away here. But since I have a button, I can also make it like as if it is typed or lowercase or title case whatsoever. Depends on whatever you need. So this is ready. I have the header done. I have the footer done. So info section, okay, and the gallery and all these kind of things now can be an auto layout. This is also done. Also done. Why? Except header and footer, I would like to wrap things in one single master auto layout, which then can be aligned perfectly to my master frame. Let's call it body. In HTML, it's also working the same way. It's like the header and the body and the footer. I'm going to make it like full screen. 1440. It should be 1440 because I know it from my screen. Let's center align because I would like it to be center align and top align in constraints. And see how it goes. It seems everything is working fine. Great. So the second part is to make an iPhone. Not iPhone. It's not sponsored by Apple, unfortunately. So I'll copy this and make a mobile version out of it. So copy this header, paste it here, and make it small. And then, how to say, I might do this in a totally different way, but this is also not bad if you are kind of in a hurry. So I have the mobile, okay, I have the header, and then in the header section, since I have clear naming convention, I can set these things. For example, this one hidden and this one also hidden instead of deleting things. And this one, let's say, called menu. Menu, good. And what about the spacing? Do I really need 40 pixel? There. Nope. Let's do it like 16 and see how it goes. Good. That looks good. Done. I did exactly the same for the other one. The body section is a little bit more tricky, but let's control if I set, nope, I did not. And for this one, let's create something like a layout guide. Add grids, columns, 4, because most of the time it is 4. 16 from both corners, and I will leave the gutter as 20 just to guide me well. And drum rolls, copy that and paste. And I don't expect it to work it perfectly because now I have to align everything one by one. And there will be something like this type of stuff. And then eventually I will be working towards each part. I did not hit my promise to deliver it under half an hour. But at least I'm still doing it. Anyhow, this is, let me have a look at this resolution, 393. And this is also 393. Good. So for this one, if I could easily say something like, instead of fill, yeah, something like, let's do it like small version first. When I make it smaller, it's aligning to the left, but I really don't want that. Why is that happening? Is I need to think it as a parent-child relationship. So if the child is going off, that's probably because the parent is bigger than the parent of the body. So let's make it smaller, or let's make it hug content. So it will hug the parent frame, okay? But in general, I can set for the banner, let's say 16 in each corners. And now again, fill. Good. It is now filling. And for this bad boy, I can make it smaller and say fill. Since I lock the aspect ratio, it's not going to make any kind of problems. All I want to set here differently is that banner area doesn't require to have some sort of 40 pixel, maybe 24 is enough. Again, however you wish you want to deliver this thing. So this part at the same time can be something like this. Again, up to you. But I would like to see the flower in the other corner, so I can press Command and select that part. And instead of fill, let's crop this bad boy. Boom, boom. Kind of done. Do I want to make it bigger? Yeah, why not? I might have better breathing space. Cool. And if I want to make things a little bit smaller, press K, make it smaller first, and come back to move. By the way, scale is here, move is here. Do not forget to scale in scale mode. And select these things, and let's do something like 10. This one also 10. This is 14. Let's make it 16. Good. So you see, it's properly aligned. Good. This bad boy can also be fill automatically, so I don't have any problems with any of the corners whatsoever. Or I have a better idea. Why not, instead of giving everything 16 pixel, because things can change, I set the body. So let's delete this thing as well. If you feel lost, don't worry, I will wrap up now. So instead of making individual 16 pixel padding each corner, I select the body and say 16 pixel from everywhere. So since they are filling the parent container, which is the body, it is going to be away 16 pixel. Good. And the second thing I would like to change here is, let's make it 32. Good. And what about this sizing? Let's make it 16. Good. And overall, I don't need 102, so probably 40 is okay. Yes. Because I would like to save it from my screen size. And as you do, since I'm using my iPhone as a camera, you can go to prototype and you can pick a device, something like iPhone 16 Pro. iPhone 16. I think I designed it for this one, so I'll look at this. And then Shift and space. What happens? Shift and space to see it on the go. How your design is going. Something like between this and that. Okay, I can change this value. So this is, if I make this thing 0, it will stick on top. Maybe for desktop 100 pixel, 150 is good, but for this one, let's make it 100 away. And what else? For visibility purposes, I would probably do it like this. But again, just for checking. Because if this is a website, which it is, Apple will automatically cover that part with their own UI. This works. Let's check if this works also. Good. But I would like to see it like full scale. What about this? Yes, I think it works good. But I don't need this part to be that big, so let's make it 16. Good. So I would like the first image to be away from left section. So that's an individual decision here, 16. So it will be aligned with the rest of the child objects. But then if I scroll, I can see it right away. Good. This bad boy to fill the container again. Any problems? Nothing. Good. Maybe line height. Maybe line height. But I will look after that. So not all the line heights have to be the same. So this is 110. This is 150, which is okay, because as the text getting smaller, you need to have more space between lines, between each lines. Otherwise, it won't be so accessible. For the cards, okay. Let's close this for now. For the cards, what I want in general is first and foremost, fill the container. And secondly, right now if I say, so you see they are now filled the container. I would like child elements, sorry, not the child elements, shift enter to go back to the parent one. My auto layout setting to be vertical this time. And not left, center, maybe top. So in this way I have a better look, good. And also, yeah, for each one to fill the parent so that I don't need to individually give 16 pixel padding to each child elements. But I now have one proximity problem, which is, it's not a proximity, it's an alignment problem to differentiate if this text belongs to this. So this is a little bit bad. So I will be putting more spacing in order the eyes could easily understand that these child elements are totally different from each other. Good. Now it makes more sense. Again, for this one, fill the container, and the child element inside will also fill the container. Pretty much good. This container, let's put something like 12 extra. 24, too much. 16. But again, doesn't mean that I could make this smaller. Let's do 32 again. Depends on what you really need. Like this, a little bit up. Cool. Same goes to the height. Maybe I set 16 also. And then, instead of guessing any number, I can say something like hug content. It does not look good. 40. Press shift and up to give any spacing you want in general. But instead of, for me, I wouldn't like to give this number for padding. I'll set it to 0 and give something like a, I don't know, let's try 400, 500, 600, oops, sorry, 800, too much, 600. More or less, okay? And since all these child elements, like individually, they are in my body section, they all stack each other. So if I want to change this to like this, you see everything will come accordingly, or totally the opposite. This will go down. Good. The last bit is to make this thing fill. And yeah, this is done. The footer area, select, paste. Arrange left or center and bottom, and make this thing bigger. If you say, wow, how did you do it? Like it's moving with the parent, whereas my one is stay in place. That's because of, again, the constraints. It's set to bottom center. If it's like top center, visually nothing will change, but in general, if I select the entire body, now do this, it will be stacking up to the top. Whereas if I say this bottom, now do this again to select not the iPhone, yeah, the iPhone body, or the iPhone, sorry, make it like bigger, and it's going to be always stacked there. So for this hug content, it does not do that. I first need to make this thing smaller and then kind of arrange everything else inside. This says like this, so make it auto. But yeah, I will be making some changes here. Let's try like this. No, like this. And arrange down. That's kind of okay. But I would like this section. How did I do that? Yes, something like, let's put them side by side. Okay, I have contact and location. Make an auto layout. And then take this thing, make it something like this. Okay. And arrange everything centered. Again, I'm thinking in boxes. What boxes do I need? So this box in general is, let's say, fill container. And then also, instead of vertical, let's make it horizontal. And I don't want to necessarily arrange this thing. I want it to automatically push the other child. Plus, finally, I can put this frame down and call it footer navigation, maybe? I don't know. AI probably will give me a better name. For this one, I will keep it as it is. Or maybe if I say instead of auto, let's say 24 and arrange everything to bottom, it will kind of give me the same look. The last thing that I would like to do is it the same? Linear. Yeah, it's the same. Good. Maybe for the mobile I can do it slightly darker. So that's all there is. I now have two same output with close and see what's going on. Okay. I have app 1. Let's call it desktop. Good. And this is the library. So this is not desktop, sorry. Let's call it app. I have the desktop. Good. And iPhone 16. So coming back to the truth, I have lots of things going on in this and here and then here. Let's ask AI if it delivers a better naming convention than myself. I will be clicking here and rename layers, cross fingers and see how it goes. Bzzz. Nice. Well, I don't know. Sometimes it does not hallucinate, but if it is a design element or like an auto layout or any other stuff which is very complex, maybe it is not going to be a perfect job. Tagline, description. I think that's a better output than myself. But then if you want to take it to further, let's say, what if you have someone who is an expert about design system? So you can give a snapshot of these things and ask AI if you have like a better naming convention for each UI component. Same goes to this. So probably I will have to rename it before doing all these bits, but anyhow, that's life. I hope it will give the same names. That was my mistake. Rename layers. And yeah, footer navigation, things like that. So AI does not change everything. Some things make sense to it, but these things, some smaller bits of elements are changed automatically. Offer tagline, offer description, offer tagline. Good. Good, I like it. So if you have everything done, all you have to do is copy and paste to Figma site. So let's do that. Here, open a new one, open Figma sites, and don't forget it is still in beta mode, and a blank site. All I have to do is check what was my screen size, 1440 to 4200, let's say. Okay, 1440, 4200. Let's make this thing a bit darker. Oh, not these. Everything else a bit darker. And for this one, let's check. 393, 440, 393. Sometimes I'm telling these things in Turkish. Cool. So let's go select everything, close these layers and see how it is going. So it's desktop, copy, paste, bam. And guess what happens? It puts this thing in both mobile and the desktop. I'm going to make it like this. And then, yeah, the mobile. Okay, here's the difference. I explained to my own students, and I will explain you also. This looks like Framer, okay? Framer also started this arrangement. And I don't know if it's a thing in CSS. I think it is. In Webflow, I remember how to do things like that. So this thing inherits the behavior from in an upper level. So if I change the title and take it down, nothing will happen to the desktop one. Whereas if I come here, as long as I use the same stuff, if I make a change here, it will update everything accordingly. Whereas if I, how to say, take this down and let's say put this thing up, whereas this one, for example, put that thing in the middle, it changes as well. Cool. Cool. All right. But I do not want to redo all this process once again. I will copy this and select mobile, press enter once. I don't need desktop. I would like to paste the actual one. So it is not, okay, it's not actually deleting anything, it's hiding it, but that's okay, because I don't want to, I will be working on this. This is predominantly arranged for the mobile. Seems slightly bigger, of course. So let's do this thing also bigger. It is not. What if, okay, good. I have no idea if this thing can be a little bit bigger. Since it's a beta mode, they change everything day to day. Not sure how to do that. This is okay. This is also okay, but maybe like this. Anyhow, this would most likely give a better job than if you open a Figma Make and do something an extra in terms of coding. Instead of designing here and pasting to Figma Make, it's, I think, better to make the initial Figma Make code from site. I might be wrong, but according to my tests, since everything is a beta about AI, it keeps on changing. I think that's a better output to put it from Figma site to Figma Make. I hope you learned something, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like and comment, and if you want to learn something like that, let me know what you would like to learn. And shout out to the designer of these blooms. You can probably find this on community and under websites, I guess. So anybody can do it. You can also do Figma sites, so websites, okay. Figma Make, not Figma Make, community, design resources, not presentation, not websites, see more maybe here. Yep, this one. Ah, it's done by Figma. Okay, cool. So Figma, just to let you know that we make a screenshot out of your design and make it properly auto layout. In this way, my students learn how may I start things from scratch, and they learn a little bit of how to set components step by step. This is also like a molecule stuff. Let's delete that. Good. I hope that helps. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to smash the like and check other videos as well, and hope to see you in the next one.